I understand how the people were so desperate to pick this man.
Donald Trump is no stranger to controversy, but what happened when Cher, one of the biggest pop icons in history, took aim at him and his sons, Eric and Don Jr.?
You know, this unbelievable narcissist who could change the face of our world.
Was something that sent shockwaves through the political and celebrity worlds alike. Picture this. The man who spent his entire career surrounded by sycophants, who has built an empire on the back of lies, ego, and vanity, suddenly facing a verbal onslaught from someone who knows the game better than most. Cher, 70 years old, glittered in sequins, and with a voice that could melt ice, wasn't just throwing shade. No, she was going full scorched earth on the Trumps, and it was beautiful. In a live broadcast that stunned millions, Cher didn't just critique Trump's policies. She exposed the man himself. His sons, Eric and Don Jr., were also dragged into the spotlight. The truth was laid bare, and there was nowhere for the Trump family to hide. How did Trump react to this? Let's just say it wasn't pretty. Trump's ego, already fragile from years of public meltdowns, couldn't handle the reality check Cher was delivering. As she blasted him on live TV, it became clear that this wasn't just a celebrity calling out a political figure. This was a warning. Cher was pointing out that Trump was more than just a flawed leader. He was a dangerous one, and his entire family was complicit in the chaos he'd unleashed on America. But Cher didn't stop there. She tore into Trump's entire brand. The self-proclaimed billionaire businessman who had never known a real struggle in his life. The truth? Cher knew Trump wasn't some self-made hero. She called him out for living off his father's wealth, for building his so-called empire on nothing but glitter and empty promises. His sons, Eric, with his all-American boy facade, and Don Jr., who Cher humorously pointed out was little more than his father's puppet, were dragged into this as well. When Cher spoke about Trump, she didn't just take him to task for his policies. No, she highlighted the moral bankruptcy at the heart of his family. "You're not a leader," she told him. "You're a walking crisis in a cheap suit." And with those words, Cher didn't just hit Trump. She ripped open the layers of delusion that had allowed him to fool so many. Trump's response? Pure rage. He could hardly contain his anger, and as expected, he lashed out on social media. But this wasn't like the usual tantrum where he calls people fake or attacks the media. No, this time, the man who prided himself on being the ultimate winner, the one who never loses, found himself humiliated by someone who made an art out of reading through his lies. Cher didn't just hit Trump, she took out his entire narrative. She dissected the cult of personality around him and exposed it for what it was. An illusion built on egotism and narcissism. The kind that is so strong it could crumble entire systems if left unchecked. And here's the kicker. Cher wasn't angry. No, her tone wasn't one of rage, but of deep, disappointed resignation. "Donald Trump isn't just a narcissist," Cher said. "He's an existential threat in a cheap suit." Her words hit so hard, they probably echoed through the marble halls of Trump Tower. And when you heard those words, you couldn't help but feel like the weight of everything Trump had built was being torn down by someone who had seen it all and refused to let him get away with it. And for those who thought Cher was just some pop star with a microphone, think again. Cher wasn't just making noise. She was using her platform as a weapon, but with the precision of a master tactician. She wasn't here for a half-hearted PSA or some watered-down political commentary. No, Cher delivered her message like a seasoned fighter, with every word chosen carefully and every sentence crafted to destroy. She warned that if Trump's brand of bigotry, delusion, and greed continued to hold sway in America, it would undo the progress this country had made in the fight for women's rights, LGBTQ+ rights, and equality across the board. "He's a weaponized ego," Cher said, "and he's dangerous." The implications were clear. Trump's rise wasn't just a political moment, it was a symptom of something much deeper and far more dangerous. Did Trump care? Of course he cared. You could see it in every tweet, every tantrum. Cher was right. She wasn't just calling out his political failures. She was calling out his entire identity. His self-obsession. His craving for admiration. And you know what's terrifying? Trump knows deep down that everything she said was true. As Cher finished her takedown, she gave one final message. One that resonated far beyond the celebrities and headlines. "The power of the people is bigger than the bastards in Washington," she said. It wasn't just about Trump. It was about everything he represented, his greed, his dishonesty, his self-serving narrative that had convinced so many people that he could actually lead. And when Cher said it, calmly, assuredly, it felt like a call to arms, a rallying cry to remind the public that they cannot afford to be numb to the chaos Trump has sparked. "Don't let chaos become normal," she urged. "Don't let a man who treats women like props, who divides, who lies, become the standard." In those final moments, you could feel the weight of her words and the urgency that came with them. Trump, for all his bluster and bravado, couldn't stand against someone who had been through it all. Cher wasn't just another celebrity offering her opinion. She was a warrior, standing firm in a world where too many are content to watch and wait. So, what happens next? Is Trump really done? Will his influence finally crumble in the face of the truth Cher just dropped on him? You can be sure of one thing. If anyone's going to hold him accountable, it's going to be people like Cher, who never miss their shot and have the guts to speak the truth, no matter who it offends. If you've been enjoying this breakdown and want to stay up to date on all the latest drama, be sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned. Because trust me, this is far from over.